What is up, people? Welcome back. So Nano ticker symbol Nndm, announced their Q2 earnings yesterday, and the result is disappointing. Okay, $811,000 in revenue, not a single dollar increase in revenue since previous quarter. As mentioned by the CEO himself, he is not happy with the numbers. But do not try to time Nano because when the company will reach its inflection point, you will be left out when all the shareholders will enjoy massive ROI. Okay, that's return on investment. And it's not me saying, okay, it is actually said by the CEO himself during the earnings call.
Be very careful from trying to time the market. Don't try to time Nano Dimension's business development. It will be very surprising. It will go through inflection points. It's not a grown, mature business with $500 million of revenue on a quarterly basis with 2 cents up or 2 cents down in earnings per share. So there'll be inflection point when we will announce achievements that will cause things to jump up, and you will be late to come into the share. So my recommendation is don't try to time it. Make a decision. If you're long-term investors, hold, buy, be in, and when the inflection point will arrive, you will be riding up with us.
Right, so today in this video, I'm gonna show you the major highlights of Q2 earnings call, including the Q&A. Which will definitely boost your confidence if you're holding Nano stock. Before I go, let me say this: I'm not a financial advisor, so anything I say in this video should not be taken as financial advice. You have to do your own research before you invest. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I use 3 investing apps to invest my money. That's Trading 212, Stake, and Free Trade. All the links are down in the description. If you sign up to the link, you can get a free share worth up to hundreds of pounds. Okay, and as always, investing early is the way to become rich. So according to the CEO, Mr. Yoav Stern, if you're holding an Nndm stock, you have to go for long-term investment. You just have to buy some shares and wait for the company to reach its inflection point. Okay, and that's not something imminent. It's gonna take some years. You just have to be patient and wait. The company will definitely announce some big news in due time, like a big merger and acquisition. So yeah, if you truly believe in this company, I think probably right now is a good time to add some shares, not financial advice. So the stock gained nearly 5% yesterday with its trading volume well above the average volume, and now in the pre-market today the stock is down about 3%. Okay, and the stock is trading well above $6. As I said earlier, I think anything below $6 is a good entry price for an Nndm stock. And if you're worried about the stock dipping so much, then you might want to listen to Mr. CEO again.
Yes, the share went down, and the share went up half a year ago to or 8 months ago in the same speed as it went down. We have very, very loyal shareholders, which I respect a lot of institutions and dozens of thousands of retail shareholders. And if you pay attention on the volume of the share as the share went up, the volumes were 4 to 10 times the volume of the share traded when the stock went down. What it means is there are certain people that are impatient, not impatient as a negative connotation. Impatient means short-term investors, traders, and as they sell, the share goes down. And if there's not enough people to buy, then the share goes down on small volumes. That is what happens. Notice the volumes of the last few months. Very low volumes, which means very few people affect the price of the share. Most of the people are holding the shares, and I have 60 institutions that I know of that are holding the shares and very, very loyal, and many, many others.
So the CEO compared Nano to the other biotech startup companies, which spends millions of dollars in its early phase and takes years and years to show their financial result. And we definitely agree that Nano is still in its early phase. The company is burning millions of dollars every quarter, right? But unlike biotech startup companies, according to the Mr. CEO, the downside, of Nano is protected. Let's hear how.
And when people mistakenly thought that when I said it compared to biotech, our downside is protected, to understand that the downside, the protection of the downside is in the price of the share. That's not the case. Biotech downside is not protected because if the FDA does not approve the third grade or the third testing or the third level of testing, then investment of $1.5 billion goes down in a drain. We are not subject to any approval of regulatory authorities. There's a reason. The downside is protected because if we don't reach our goals on time, if we are delayed, we can always sell what we developed to this point and get a certain return. Obviously, not as high a return as we are planning of 3-4 times your investment, if not more. But the downside, in so much as compared to biotech, where the downside is zero, there's no downside of zero here. There's a business to be sold.
So unlike other early stage growth company, Nndm has huge cash position, almost $1.4 billion. And in my opinion, with such a huge amount of cash, the company could become a completely different company, a very sophisticated player in 3D printing industry. And Nndm is growing rapidly, okay? They have 130 world-class scientists and engineers in the company. 8 months ago, that number was only 70, okay? And according to the CEO, they currently are in talks with, another merger and acquisition. Of course, the CEO cannot disclose that. So one more thing what I like about what the CEO said during the conference call is how much they value our investment, okay? They're not throwing the cash blindly because they have plenty of cash. They're trying to get the best companies in best possible cost.
Yes, all the acquisitions we've been looking at are too expensive. The price in the market is completely, prices are unreasonable. We've looked at 5 acquisitions of large companies, some of them are not too large, between $35-40 to $150 million, and we walked away from all of them other than one because of price. From everything we walked away, only one company was sold. All of the rest weren't sold yet. So the one that was sold was a PCB company, very small. I'll give you an example, $35 million, which had 2-3 customers that were 50% of their revenue, which is horrible. And they were sold at a valuation of more than $100 million and more than 12 times EBITDA. We would not pay prices like that. The price is completely unreasonable. This is businesses that have 30% gross margin and are struggling on a daily basis on their profitability, and specifically the PCB. And we're just not going to buy it. It's not right. We will wait, and I believe in half a year to a year, prices will go down because you can't pay 12 times EBITDA for manufacturing business like this. The right price is somewhere between 6 to 7.5 times EBITDA. I've done acquisitions all my life, and I'm not going to fall into this trap.
Okay, so we're gonna see dozens of more acquisitions from Nndm in the future, as mentioned by the CEO during Q&A, okay? And in conclusion, if you are investing in Nndm, I think you have to wait for at least 1.5 years to see some big changes in the numbers, okay? Not a great result, Q2 results, but a great conference call. It is a very convincing call from Mr. Yoav Stern. And with that being said, it is now time to wrap up the video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Invest safely, and see you in the next video.